Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dota Yoshi, bringing you another Dota 2 presentation, and today we are watching a match on the Cybergamer Ladder of Shadow Gaming Network, ranked 44th, challenging Creep Scores and Denies, who are ranked 23rd. So far on the game, we have Shadow Gaming Network banning out that Pudge and that Ursa. Very unconventional bans. You don't see that too often. And over on Creep Scores and Denies, we have that more typical Nyx Assassin ban. We possibly see a Life Stealer or the Bat Rider ban to follow or complete that. And we do see the Bat Rider. So there's still quite a few heroes left in this pool, such as the Magnus. We got a Life Stealer, the Io, if people decide to want to go down the Io route. So we got a very open-ended pool. After those two, I'd almost want to call them troll picks come out by Shadow Gaming Network. We will see who they will open up with in the starting pick, who they want to play with. Will they want to grab that Magnus for that fantastic? No, they will pick up the Sniper. So another unconventional pick with that Sniper. We'll see how this plays out for them. Should be a very interesting. If that Sniper is left alone to start to farm up, around the 27-minute mark is when he should have his Shadow Blade, who will get around the 16, and then work into his most likely Manta, you see. It will be a very strong mid-game hero if he is left untouched. If he plays it in that mid-role, he won't be too effective to those side lanes. If he plays part of that tri-lane with the support of his allies, if he doesn't get touched, he'll start to get strong. So you would like to see the rotation from Creep Scores and Denies to try and kill that Sniper as soon as possible and ruin the game for Shadow Gaming Network. Unless they do decide to go for a second carry, or even possibly a third carry if they want to go for that greedy build. So, down on Creep Score and Denies, they do pick up those two conventional picks of the Magnus and Lifesteal. Fantastic initiation and teamfight potential of that Magnus with that... whoa, Drow Ranger. That's out of the park throw here. So Sniper and Drow Ranger on Shadow Gaming Network. What will we see next? This is going to be a very interesting game. They pick up the Witch Doctor. So, these three heroes you don't see much played at all in competitive Dota. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these heroes will turn up and how they will work for Shadow Gaming Network. Over on Creep Scores and Denies, once again, the Magnus with that reverse polarity, great initiation once he picks up that blink, Skewer and Shockwave will be fantastic. And if you throw the Lifestealer in there, boom, you have a potential killing combination with just those two heroes. We'll see if Creep Score and Denies want to pick up their support hero or they want to go for a mid. They will go for an offlaner. So we will be seeing Magnus in that mid position, Lifesteal part of that tri-lane, Darkseer run in that offlane. So Darkseer won't be able to do too much harassment in those offlane as you usually see with the Iron Shell, as he will most likely be going up against one of the ranged heroes. Actually, they're all ranged so far of Shadow Gaming Network. Wouldn't be too surprised if they decide to keep this going on to help out with, I believe, Dro's aura. Yeah, her aura does go for any ranged damage. So they could be going for a potential boost to their teammates. If they really wanted to, they could go for this, for the, what's that word? Oh, she doesn't play too much, I can't think of her name right now. Vengeful Spirit, that's the one. And it is banned out by Creep Scores and Denies. They presume that Shadow Gaming Network are going for all those auras to try and buff up their heroes to unpropelled proportions of ridiculousness. So Shadow Gaming Network do ban out that Bloodseeker. So it's another hero you wouldn't really see in a competitive game. He's not strong enough. Ricky, another hero that's not strong enough and you don't see it all. You may see once every blue moon with an Io, because the tether stun, you smoke and then you finish someone off quite easily. But other than that, you don't see the Ricky or the Bloodseeker being played in at all these days. If at all ever. They both need quite serious buffs, especially the Bloodseeker. I mean, you can rip him up in pubs, but in competitive Dota, he's just not strong enough. I mean, you can get a 4-star if you push him, you do a little bit of damage with your Rapture. That's about it. Everyone knows to instantly stand still once you get hit by that Rapture. And if you've got support around you, then Bloodseeker can't do an absolute thing. So it's a bit of a strange ban. But then again, they are going for a strange lineup and strange bans, so this could be quite a fun match to watch. So we're just waiting on Creep Scores and Denies to ban out their next hero. They're trying to think what other heroes would work well in this combination of Shadow Gaming Network. What other support and possible mid hero if they don't have their mid hero already. Or even an offlaner. So they do take out that Silencer, trying to get rid of another ranged hero to make sure Shadow Gaming Network don't go for any more carriers or even support Silencer. Support Silencer works not as well as you would like it to work. That global silence would be fantastic. It would deny Magnus and that Darkseid if used at the appropriate time. However, otherwise it wouldn't be too well. Then we do see the Outworld Destroyer being banned off. Another ban that I don't think Creep Scores and Denies would have picked up. They have their mid hero in that Magnus. You won't want to run him in that tri-lane. So another ban being thrown away by Shadow Gaming Network. Creep Scores and Denies will be looking and trying to figure out what final hero Shadow Gaming Network could pick up. Then they take out that Lone Druid. So now we go over to the bans for Shadow Gaming Network. They are looking for a heavy mid to late game push. Once Drow Ranger and Sniper get their farm, that's when they will hit and hit hard. Creep Scores and Denies, they have the Darkseid so they can keep pressure up at all times. They have the Magnus for that fantastic team fight initiation. Once he gets his Blink Dagger, which would be generic timing of that 15-minute mark, you would like to see him start group up with that lifesteal and start hitting the lanes fast, because you don't want that Sniper or that Drow Ranger to get that farm. If they can get it up, they're going to be virtually impossible to take down, as they can sit so far behind the rest of the team and do damage. That's one problem that Shadow Gaming is going to be let down, is they don't have any melee heroes to absorb the damage. Never mind, they pick up the Tidehunter, so that's a nice pickup. Where they're going to run it is beats me. They could run that very strange offlane Tidehunter, as you do see some Eastern teams like to run it with that offlane Tidehunter, get him to level 6 and then rotate him out and start ganking. Maybe rotate back up to the top lane, or if he's on that safe lane top lane, rotate him down to help their tri lane out to try and get those early kills. So we'll see how they do want to line up their group. You should see the Witch Doctor and Lena running together with either the Sniper or Drow. I would say the Drow and leave your Sniper in mid lane up against that Magnus. Or actually, I think the Drow could be better than Magnus. It really depends on how they want to play and who their mid hero is best with. Over on Creep Scores and Denies, they pick up that Shadow Demon, so it's a good, fantastic pickup, especially against the Sniper and Drow Ranger. They'll be pulling out a lot of damage. You disrupt one of those two, and you have two perfectly good illusions of those heroes. And that's where the wall is going to come in extremely handy as well, especially since it does 80%, I think, illusion damage. 90% at level 3, 70% at level 1, so that's a lot of damage that can possibly become fine out, and I do not wish to share hero control game. Okay, now to introduce the teams over on Creep Scores and Denies, we have the captain playing on that Shadow Demon role, Mafu. Sorry if I screw up your names, people, that's just the way I am. And over on the Darkseid, we will be playing in the off-lane position with Oba. Jakiro will be being played by Kua. On that Magnus running mid will be Shadow EJ, and finally on that lifesteal will be Bixer. Over on Shadow Gaming Network, we have the Sniper being played by the Captain and Dillinger. On that Tidehunter will be played by Apex, running with his support Princess on that Lena. They have their Witch Doctor running down into that bottom lane with their Sniper will be Faiththrone, and finally in that mid role will be J. Ray Mo on that Drow Ranger. So at top lane, they've got the entire group grouped up here looking for a pick-off in the jungle. If Lena or that Tidehunter is not careful, they could get easily taken down here, but luckily they're sitting on that tower. They are spotted out. They did place a ward, but that Shadow Demon was behind the tree, so they're not going to find it, and now they've just baited out the lifesteal. Will they be able to find a pick-off? Will they get the disruption? Disruption's not going to go out, so there's not going to be no follow-up off the Ice Puff or the open wounds. So Tidehunter's going to get out of there without taking any casualties, but they will be running the 2-1-2 strategy, which you don't usually you see a 3-1-1 or a 2 jungle, mid and offlaner. So we'll see how this 2-1-2 strategy runs out for SGN. You hope they will be able to keep up and not lose too much in this top lane with this Tidehunter and Lena up against this tri-lane of Shadow Demon, Lifestealer and the Jakiro. They're going to be looking and playing very aggressive to try and find a kill with the Disruption, Ice Puff and then Open Wounds. They can easily find a kill. So Apex and Princess have to be extremely careful or things are going to go haywire. Very, very haywire for them. In the mid lane, we have that Magnus up against that Drow, so they decide to run that Drow mid. Magnus has that double damage, and we're going to see a pretty fairly even game here. Magnus has that shockwave, so if he's... And we see up top, we've got an open wounds into the disruption and ice puff, and we're going to see a death onto Princess. First blood going to Lifestealer. So he's going to be able to get that first blood, he's going to love that money, and he's going to move quite far ahead already. So, as we see there, if they move out of position for Shadow Gaming Network, they're going to be picked off that easily. That open wounds, that disruption and ice puff is more than enough to pick off either of those two heroes. Tidehunter is quite squishy, but Lina is even squishier, so they chose the right hero, and Lina also has that light striker away to stun, to slow down any aggressiveness. However, they did choose to take her, and they did find that kill, and they do pick off the Tidehunter on the tower. So Tidehunter once again happened to what happened to Lina: disruption, open wounds, and the ice puff. Ice puff I don't even think was used, so there's more than enough damage to take down these two heroes up top. So this top tower will fall in under 2 minutes. That's a very quick tower. You've got to see the disruption come out. They've got an ice puff ready. Ice puff's going to go through. They're going to do a lot of damage. They're trying to block that Lina in the disruption, and then she's going to take a lot of damage and will fall anyway. Top tower will also go down, so they find 3 kills, 1 tower, and that's a very huge advantage in favor of creep scores and deniers. If we want to look at the other lane for any seconds, I don't think we have enough time. The salve has been popped onto Lifestealer from that Shadow Demon, so good guy Shadow Demon throwing that salve his way, and Jakiro just farming up some of the creeps for himself. He wants some gold. He deserves that gold after his setups with that Shadow Demon. In mid lane, we've got the Magnus bottling invisibility rune, so he's got good rune control already going up against this Drow Ranger. Drow Ranger doesn't really need the runes at the moment. She doesn't use any of her mana, doesn't need to, unless she wants to harass this Magnus, but Magnus will just shockwave and then throw her back into her position. Down at bottom lane here, we've got that sniper. He's got boots, he's got tangos, so if he started with that, that's usually not the way you want to run a sniper, because you want some stats because he's very weak, especially his base damage. It's 41. It's a very, very weak base damage at the start of the game, so you usually want some stats to try and help boost that up to help those last hits. And we see a death in mid lane. Magnus finds a kill onto the Drow Ranger. Magnus gets a few shockwaves off and a perfectly timed skewer and finds a kill on that Drow Ranger. Drow Ranger was sitting on half health at about 300 health, so that's more than enough for this Magnus to burst her down. Up at top lane, we see the rotation of that tri-lane hero, which is what they need. They need three heroes up top here to counter against these other 3, and especially with that casket to help stun and help if either one of them start to get dived on. So this should start to secure this top tri-lane here. They shouldn't take any damage. The light striker away will miss on top of that Lifestealer. But if Lifestealer was paying attention, he could have easily just raged, but he dodged it anyway, so not too much worry. Then we've got a rotation from Creep Scores and Denies with Marfu and Koa looking to dive onto this Drow Ranger. They're in the middle, they're rotating behind the tower. We're going to see a disruption come out, disruption blade. Now we've got an Ice Puff come flying through, we've got a Skewer coming in at the right time, we've got a Shockwave coming through, and we've got a death on the Drow Ranger. So fantastic rotation by Creep Scores and Denies coming behind. Now they're going to look to take down this tier 1 tower. Magnus going to be rotating into the shop, pick up his arcane booster, energy booster, my mistakes. I was crossing arcane boots with that energy booster. So he's got his boots coming on the Kura, so he'll have that mine up very shortly. And Jakira has got that 1 point of liquid fire that helps destroy towers and burn through them quite excessively fast. Now Magnus is rotating back in mid lane, pick up his boots, get some mana, and this mid tier 1 tower should fall. If we look at the net worth in the game so far, Magnus, Lifestealer, and the Darkseer all sitting on 2.2k respectively, so they're quite far ahead in terms of farm. Their Sniper is only at 1k, he's sitting behind the Jakira, that rich support of Jakira. Shadow Demon sitting at 800, and this is not where you want to be at the start of the game. It's 5 minutes, and your support and your carry heroes are behind the supports of the enemy team. So this could be a sign of things to come. There's already 5.5k gold advantage for Creep Scores and Denies, while in XP they're 3k ahead. So Shadow Gaming Network, sorry I had a mind blank there. Shadow Gaming Network are falling quite far behind. They're now trying to push this Lifestealer off the lane. They know that the supports are rotated out. They can see him in mid lane, so they're going to try and find a kill on this Lifestealer. Down in bottom lane we see a gank going onto the Sniper. So we have Magnus using that RP behind the tower with the Darkseer rotating in. Iron Iron Shell with the burst from Magnus, more than enough to take down Squishy Sniper, who's got no stats on him. He's only got boots, he's only got tangos. He needs some stats, he needs to tank up a bit. They did have wards down here, so they could see the river quite easily, so I'm not too sure what he was doing so close to the tower, especially with that Magnus being level... He's only level 6, but he's more than enough to count in the heroes. And in mid lane, there's a Soul Catcher, Disruption, and a final Shockwave to finish off that drow. So, Creeps, Ghosts, and Deniers are just walking all over Shadow Gaming Network at the moment. They're controlling the map. The Shadow Gaming Network, they had unconventional picks, and it's just not working at the moment. They got 2 mid to late game heroes, especially with that Sniper, who requires more than what is required farm to be initially good at all. And since he's been shut down this entire game, Sniper can't get any farm, so Sniper's just going to be paperweight for the rest of the game at the moment, unless they can find some good team fights and be able to pick up some farm on that Sniper. Up at top, in the meanwhile, as I was talking about all that, the Lifestealer did find a kill on that Lena. So Lena, out by herself, up against the Lifestealer, who can rage and open wounds, is death. And that's what happened there. Lifestealer will pick up that kill, pick up that money, and happily take away some more items, as he will be looking for that armlet. He's got his Midas and will be looking to pick up his armlet next for that more damage and attack speed that the armlet does have on offer. So in mid lane we have Magnus. He's got a regen in a bottle, so we'll be looking to pop that very shortly. The Shadow Gaming Network's going to be very careful. Sniper and the Drow and that Lena, they cannot go up against this Magnus alone. He's doing more than enough damage. He pops that regen, but he gets shot instantly, so he's not going to have any mana to do anything. He doesn't even have enough mana RP, but do they have enough to take down this Lena anyway? He doesn't get that lead. He doesn't get that shockwave. Great casket coming out by Faithrone, and it will stop that shockwave being going off, protecting that Lena's life. So Lena will rotate back to base and heal back up and rotate back into the mid lane. In the meanwhile, we've got the Magnus and the Gyrocopter. They get an Ice Path off onto that Drow. Will they get the skill? Skill is going back, and we got a dead Drow. So the kill will go to the Creeps. However, they don't mind too much. They didn't have their carrier in position to get the last hit, so they're happy to share the gold around between heroes. And Magnus will have his blink up very soon. He's going to have it in under the 10-minute marks with Arcane Boots. That's an extremely fast Arcane blink time, and now he's looking to go in on these onto this Witch Doctor and Sniper. It's night vision, so they can't see him yet. He's rotating, he's looking for this Witch Doctor. His Witch Doctor's going to go north, and he's going to find the Sniper. He's found the Sniper. Disruption comes out. They're going to get a Skewer and Shockwave off. Skewer, Shockwave, and that's a dead Sniper. And now Tidehunter is dying up on top lane to this Lifestealer. So Lifestealer diving on the tower. Unfortunately, the Witch Doctor could not do anything to save that Tidehunter's life. Tidehunter does not have his Ravage. He's only level 4. So, this is not looking good at all for Shadow Gaming Network. With Creep Scores and Denies, their support hero of that Shadow Demon is sitting on 2k gold. That's higher than the carry potential of Shadow Gaming Network, who only has 1.3k on that Sniper. So this shows you the weakness of that Sniper and Drow pickups. They're not good at early game. If they don't get that free farm they desperately need, and get hit at the start, they're both quite weak. So this is the definitely downfall of Shadow Gaming Network. Tidehunter comes in, gushes. Will they be able to find this kill in Jakiro? Will they be able to get the point onto the scoreboard? And a great Ice Path on 4 by that Jakiro. And a Snipe come through, and they do get the kill. So Sniper will finally get his first kill for the side of Shadow Gaming Network. Soul Catcher coming out with some poison thrown, coming onto this Witch Doctor. One more poison touch, and we have a dead Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor will pop to that Shadow Demon. Darkseer coming in. He's going to kill with that Iron Shell and a few auto attacks. Sniper going to do RP on 3. We got a Skewer coming in, Shockwave, that's 2, that's 3, that's a team wipe in favour of Creep Scores and Denies. This is a massive snowball on favour of Creep Scores and Denies. Shadow Gaming Network not being able to do too much here. They've just been overrun, overplayed so far this game. They've gone with unconventional picks, and this shows you why those heroes don't work well in competitive games. They need too much farm, they can't do too much early game, and this shows you what happens when an aggressive team, such as Creep Scores and Denies, comes and hits them hard. So fantastic play by Creep Scores and Denies. Just throwing out random flame breaths and ice paths at his teammate Mafu, just because he can at this moment. As Shadow Gaming Network are coming in, trying to look for a kill in the middle here, with these two supports out of position, but they're going to rotate around to the rest of their team. And this Lifestealer hasn't left this top lane the entire game. He's got his Gloves of Haste, he's got a Mithril Hammer. So, whatever he wants, he'll be able to get, and he's happy to have it. And there's a little bit of banter going on in chat, haven't been really reading it. little bit of friendly chat. Now we're going to death onto the Drow with that blink in from that Magnus. They're going to throw the Gauss out, but they're not going to be able to chase him down. The auto attack from the sniper going across half the map, but you can only throw one every so often with sniper, and they don't do too much damage. So a little few things that Shadow Gaming need to work on is their hero picks. They need to possibly work towards more conventional picks, like a sniper or Drow are not conventional as they require too much farm early game. If you can't give them that farm, they will die. We might see a lifestealer fall here. He does infest into a creep, so he's just going to sit there for a while, wait to hopefully one of his supports come in and help him out. Or they might start killing off this creep. Will they start killing it? No, they're going to back. They're scared. So they had the opportunity to take out that lifestealer then, as there was no support rotating in for him. They saw the 3 heroes down bottom. They saw the 1 hero in middle. They could have tried to take out that lifestealer and they probably would have found it. However, they decided to back. And the lifestealer now has a Maelstrom up and running in his stash, soon to come to him on that courier, after the courier delivers the mechanism to that Darkseer. So, creep scores and denies are going to keep pushing harshly, because that's what you need to do. Against this lineup of Shadow Gaming Network, you push hard, you push fast, you don't give them any map control, and they're absolutely, royally screwed. So, great play coming out by creep scores and denies. They get that middle tower, so they have all tier 2 towers. They might look to rotate down to get Roshan, and just possibly use that token, pop that token after everyone's used all their stuff on a tier 3 tower, and then go for the racks, go for the throat, if they haven't already ripped out the throat of their opponents, which is saddening to say, but that's just the way some games go. So, Sniper not being able to do too much here, out of these backlines, trying to throw out whatever auto attacks he can. He's only got boots and a belt of strength on it. So, now there's going to be a cask come thrown out, it's going to bounce between them, being an absolute pain. An RP on 2, kills 1, going to turn around, go for the Drow, third Drow pick off. So everyone's getting a piece of the pie, everyone's getting kills. Sharing the love on the side of creep scores and denies. Unfortunately, Shadow Gaming Network aren't feeling that love. And the Ravage still not up and running on this Tidehunter. Hasn't been able to pick up that level 6. Throws out his Gush, but a pipe has been popped by the Darkseer, so it's not going to do any damage. And now the Tidehunter will fall in return of that Gush thrown out. Lifestealer picking up a kill of his own. And now, yeah, I show you the gold graph. The gold graph is 2.25k advantage in creep scores and denies, 18k advantage of Shadow Gaming Network. So Shadow Gaming Network, they just have a few fundamentals to work on. The first being their lineup that they need to pick up. So they need to work on having less farm intensive carries at the start. They need someone who can work in early game. Drow Sniper cannot work early game. Tidehunter is great if you can get up to level 6 and start getting that Ravage. The Lena's a fantastic pickup. No matter what, Lena's always a fantastic pickup with that stun and burst damage she has on offer. It's a little strange picking up that Fiery Soul, especially since you can't get those auto attacks off, and you'd rather put it in her burst so you can burst down heroes much faster. So that's a little bit of a strange level up by that Lena. We do see the lifestealer of Bixar picking off this Tidehunter. And in mid lane, while I'm not paying attention, we see another kill going in the way of the Magnus. 2 kills going in the way of Magnus, picking off that Sniper and Drow Ranger. So, as I was saying with Shadow Gaming Network, they just need to work on their picks a bit more, and then work on their fundamentals from there. As having two seriously intensive carries like that early on the game leaves teams such as Creep Scores and Eyes and their tried and true formula of their team lineup will hammer you hard, hammer you fast, and ruin you. If they were up against the team that was more passive on Creep Scores and Denies, if they were a more passive team, this lineup for Shadow Gaming Network could pay off dividends in the end. However, that's not the case so far in this game. So now we just wait for the inevitable push of Creep Scores and Denies to run into the middle and to take out whatever's left into the space. We've got to blink in, we've got to vacuum in, no RP being popped, but they don't need the RP. The Maelstrom proccing, killing off one. They're going to turn, Shockwave peeling off a second one. Jakiro wants that kill, but Lifesteal will pick off that final kill, and Tidehunter is going to scurry his way back to the deepest depths of the fountain. So now this mid-tier 3 will go down, Rax will shortly follow, buyback from the Sniper, and the buyback from the Jakiro. Rage buyback on the buyback, so he wants the buyback from the buyback. So there's just the buyback on the buybacks. Make more buybacks. To annoy everyone out there, I'm just going to say buyback a few more times. Buyback. Anyway, we got an RP on 3. Great RP. Skewer on 3. He's going to push him back. Then we're going to see death. Death everywhere. Boom, death, death. Magnus does fall for his great RP. But they do get a team wipe for that RP. And Magnus does buyback. So, that's a fantastic RP. Skewer. And just a wipe from that lifesteal. So look forward to seeing more from Creep Scores and Deniers and Shadow Gaming Network later on as they progress up the ladder and progress on with their careers. Love to see Shadow Gaming Network come back with a few more fundamentals and team picking under their belt. Could see them becoming a good team. However, just at the moment, they are being outclassed. Shadow Demon has his dagger up. He's going to try and kill Lena. He gets his solo kill. Ice Puff comes out. 2 auto attacks by lifesteal. Finds another kill. A few more auto attacks will kill off this Tidehunter. Even with that Gosh, are they going to find that kill in the lifesteal? Lifesteal is going to find those kills. Get killed by that final auto attack. And he will die. He will buy back, however, and try and make his way back to the fight. But now they're just fountain camping. Tidehunter buy it back. Why? Because he can. It only cost him about 5 gold to buy it back. And now we got lots of Revelation wards coming out on the side of Creep Scores and Deniers. Because they can. Are they going to be able to find this kill in the Jakiro? He's hiding, salving up, earning up. And then a massive burst coming out onto that unfortunate Witch Doctor. Vacuum in. Doesn't have that wall. He's got a Dagon of his own. They've all got Dagons. Now it's just more death. Tidehunter. Yes, we see a Ravage for the first time in the game. So, but it's not able to do too much. It's too late into the game. It's about 7 minutes too late. So now we have an S being spelled out by this Magnus. They're trying to spell the Creep Scores and Deniers. We might see it coming out very shortly. We might just want to reinforce the S. Or he might spell out Shadow. Who knows? What does he want to do? Stand there, apparently. Waiting for that RP. He's got his blink. Now she's going to be auto-attacked down by a sniper. Sniper's being a dick. Just trying to shoot him down. But I can't say that Creep Scores and Deniers aren't being a dick themselves, camping the fountain. Instead of finishing this game, putting Shadow Gaming Network out of their misery. Sniper will die from the Darkseer and he's Dagon. And now they're coming out onto the Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon will pop. Maybe. No, he won't. RP on 3. Great RP. We're going to have a Skewer. Skewer's already been used. Shockwave, Ice Path, Flame Breath, and Jakiro picks up some kills, along with one for Magnus. So, Creep Scores and Deniers should just kind of end it at the moment. Put Shadow Gaming Network out of their misery. So now we just wait. We'll wait for the world to change. Not really, the world's not going to change. This is a one-sided world at the moment. Drow and Sniper want to find this kill on the Shadow Demon. Magnus blinks in, he's got no mana. Great Vacuum, great Skewer. Who needs mana when you have a team that can do that? So, there's more kills going in the way of Creep Scores and Deniers, which is understandable at the moment. That's the scoreboard if anyone wants to check out the scoreboard. Gold, XP. Don't really want to go too much in depth in that because it doesn't really matter at this stage of the game. And now we're asking for a win from that Witch Doctor. He wants a win. Don't think Creep Scores and Deniers want to give up their 23rd position on the ladder. So Soul Catcher being thrown out onto the Tidehunter just being zapped and just death. I think they're just running out in favor of being... I'm trying to think of an animal that just walks out and dies. I don't know. Can't think of one at the moment. So, more death over the place. And now we're just seeing the Ancient 4. Jakiro picking up Dagon, level a lot. Level 1, 2, 3, 4, level 4 Dagon. So if anyone wants to fight this Jakiro, he'll Dagon you to death. So Creep Scores and Deniers played a fantastic game, hit Shadow Gaming hard and fast at the start, made sure they couldn't get any farm on their heroes that depended it, worked together, pushed hard, pushed fast, and they won it quite substantially and quite convincingly. So Creep Scores and Deniers keeps their 23rd position on the ladder, shaming Shadow Gaming Network stay a hold of their 44th. I'd like to thank you for watching another Dota Yoshi presentation. If you enjoyed my cast, it'd make a great deal if you do subscribe to me on YouTube. Thank you for watching.